For the first time in the NFL's storied history, Super Bowl 57 will feature two black starting quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, both products of Texas high school football, but also products of two strong black active fathers who couldn't be prouder of their trailblazing offspring.
To be, a part of it, a part of history, and knowing that, I had my hand in making one of those black quarterbacks, it's just a special thing for me, and I know it's going to be very special for Patrick.
Pat Mahomes Sr., a retired MLB pitcher, very involved in the community with his youth baseball league and in the Chiefs quarterback's life. Then there's Channelview High School head football coach Avery Hurts, the father and former varsity coach of Jalen Hurts, who says forget all the other titles, only one matters most.
That's the most powerful word to me is daddy. They need something they call you, whether it's advice or an opinion or whatever, daddy. So that means a lot. And so, I hold that near and dear to my heart.
Well, these dads are patriarchs to history. It's been 35 years since Doug Williams became the first black quarterback to start in the Super Bowl. Since then, there's been only 6 more, including Mahomes twice, but never 2 in the same game. And these fathers grew up in a time where it was widely known that front offices didn't want black athletes in at quarterback.
It dispels the old narrative that, black quarterbacks weren't intelligent enough to pick up stuff.
So, one misconception invalidated clearly by the two dominant figures set to square off on football's largest stage. But there's also another stereotype that black fathers aren't active. Well, it's safe to say here that these two debunk that as well.
My dad was always in the stands, he'd get off work and he'd be at every game, depending on what sport it was, he was going to be there. So I decided early on that Patrick was going to have the same support for me.
Support and following around daddy actually shaped these guys to be who they are today.
I think him growing up in the field house helped and always being around it. And I think that once he was intrigued with the sport of football, he sought knowledge out on his own. Timeouts on sidelines, and he was a ball boy. He'd listen. And I think, I never really realized that he was paying attention to that magnitude that he was.
He was 4 or 5, I used to try to take him to the ballpark with me, when we played home games, I used to try to take him to all of them. He was fortunate enough to have like Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter, they would take him down in the batting cages and hit with him and video it and show him what he was doing wrong. So he was always in the big league clubhouse. I had his shower shoes, he had his own little locker.
Would you believe me if I said this rivalry was actually birthed right here in East Texas? The two quarterbacks just didn't know it yet.
We met Patrick in Tyler at the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Player of the Year.
That's exactly where they met, and I remember it like it was yesterday.
Jalen was a freshman, Patrick was coming out, and Coach Kingsbury was sitting next to me, and we were talking, and he said, Coach, he's got unbelievable arm talent.
So now, this thing has turned full circle, and here they are playing in the Super Bowl against each other. And hopefully Patrick can win this time.
As far as Jalen is concerned, he's also making history off the field. His agent becoming the first black woman to represent a quarterback in the Super Bowl. Now, including women in football, that's something else he gets from his dad after Coach Hurts made headlines in 2020 for starting a girl on his varsity football team.
For me, our kicker got hurt. She was on the team. I want to kick. And she's such a sweet girl, soccer player. And she was like, okay, I want to kick. So we did it. She was our best onside kicker. Our kicker got hurt, so then it was like, okay, well, you get what you want. So then it was like, y'all better not let her get hit.
We love to see it. Dads leading by example, but also in the moments we don't get to see along the journey.
I can show you a thread of text messages since he was probably in 6th, 7th grade, and every one of them ends with, I love you, and players make plays.
Players make plays. And here in East Texas, the future looks bright. Little leaguers with hopes to one day also make it to the league.
When I grow up, I want to be a football player, go to the NFL. I've been playing football all my life. It's one of my favorite sports.
When I grow up, I just want to make it to the league, either in the NBA or the NFL.
With their strong black dads not far behind.
My dad, he's one of my favorite people in the world. I think one of my most favorite happy memories about him is when we were playing flag football. We won the Super Bowl. That's one of my first ones ever.
I like my dad take time out his day to put work in with me. He's basically my trainer. Like, he's my trainer and my dad at the same time.
As far as Super Bowl 57 is concerned, Coach Hurts knows one thing for sure.
I guarantee you the winner will be a black quarterback from Texas.